So tell us, I don't know if so the type of conversations I like to have on my podcast is to, sure, we're going to talk about your business, what you're doing. But what this podcast is all about is mostly to get to know you, to see, as a person, to have a look under the hood, so to speak, to see what's in your heart, to see who's Riyad as a person, as a human being, first and foremost, before the business person, because we do business with people we can connect, relate, and trust. And if you can't connect with someone as a personal level, we will not be doing business with them. So this is what this podcast is about. Are you ready to start?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, to my person, I would say I'm a human being.
Yeah.
I My passion is helping my people to achieve their best versions,
Mm-hmm.
and then I don't see any limit when I see basically and sense weak links, whether it's sleep, stress management, nutrition. I just help. So I remember when I was back then in nuclear engineering, of course, when you study something when you are young and you take a decision to study, well, you do it and then you start working. Is challenge is basically to prove it to yourself and your line management that you can do a job, especially in the nuclear engineering, which is one of the most complex, let's say, human sciences we have on Earth. Very precise, a lot of parameters, a lot of safety. Uh, um, and after 15 years, I decided basically that this is enough of a challenge. So I did the whole cycle from designing systems from scratch, then putting them on paper, then getting them approved, then defending the design with the authorities, then eventually doing changes, optimizing, and seeing the systems being installed, and then starting up a nuclear power plant until you see the nuclear power plant has been producing or is producing electricity. So that was like, took me 15 years to see the whole cycle. So nuclear engineering is quite deep and complex, and the projects are very long lasting. Again, so took me 15 years to come from scratch to seeing the plant in production. I remember I was back then expatriating in the UK, in Bristol, where I was always into sports. I was playing handball. I was doing karate. I was
Wow.
playing basketball.
No football?
And then in my yes, as Algerian, I think we are born with the soccer ball anyway. So, however, in Bristol back then, I remember I came back from the kitchen into the open space and saw all those 50 plus engineers, colleagues, all tucked, looking to their screens. And then suddenly a very, very powerful question came into my mind. Am I going to continue working this way until retirement? I was back then already 40, 41. So I said to myself, no, actually not. I have never felt it like as the end calling. So I felt there is something else behind. I would like to do something else, but I wasn't sure what should it be. Yeah. And then with that critical question, basically, I started being aware about what I'm doing right now, what I should change to, or finding basically an idea or passion or something I'm very passionate about in order to eventually change shift the career. So it was very risky to basically go so far because having kids, having a very comfortable paycheck. I know a lot of my colleagues who would love to change and do take the same path and follow their passion, but they cannot. So it's a very tough decision. And then you start basically from scratch. Yeah. And you start in hands only with one thing: your passion, helping people to achieve their best version. That was the fire in me. So, and that led me to later on to look for mentors, to come up with a strategy how I can learn the maximum amount of information, usable information, knowledge, and pick the brains of the best health and performance trainers worldwide in order to so make it with the career shift. Yeah, so that was basically
Awesome.
the motivator to change the profession.
Beautiful. That's so wonderful. Thank you for sharing this. We're going to dive into all of that in detail further later on.